Hello, and good morning. It is Monday, October 14th. Good morning, good morning. I appreciate y'all being here so early. Let's see, who is in this chat? Why is everything highlighted? What did I do? Okay. Good morning, Chinny, Lily, Polly, Defense Attorney Meow, Linda B. Thank y'all for being here. Chrissy Bacon. Oops. Good morning, good morning. Good morning. Did I miss anybody? Hopefully not. Man, it is Monday. I don't want to do anything. Not even a little bit. Oh, I didn't turn on my lights this morning. Come on, there we go. I got that. And then I got that. I always forget to turn on these lights. I need to put them on like a timed plug. I need more timed plugs. All right, there we go. Now my stuff is on. All right. Well, I went through and made a playlist last night. There is, of course, a lot of shit going on. So whatever I don't finish today, I'll roll over to tomorrow. Since I'm going to be doing this, my goal is to do it daily. So let's get into it. All right, let me pull up my playlist. My cat is underneath my feet, of course. She was being a little menace this morning. Okay, this story is going to go down. Okay, so the Menendez brothers have been in the news quite a lot. There's new audio that was released. I'm not sure if you all have seen that. So I'm going to play that real quick. And let's see what else. And then Diddy's lawyers are accusing the feds of leaking the assault video of him and Cassie. I heard that he leaked that video because he wanted people to know what a tough ass he is. But I don't think it makes you look tough beating on a woman that is smaller than you. And I know some women are very strong. I am not. I'm not very strong. Like even play wrestling, it definitely scared me how much stronger my male friend is than me. Uh, so I don't think it makes you look like a man beating on a woman that is smaller than you. But what do I know? What do I know? I'm just here giving my opinion. I'm like Wendy Williams, but less sassy, I think. There's some shit Wendy Williams would say that I definitely wouldn't say. Sarah Boone, yeah, Sarah Boone is definitely going to be interesting. I wish that I could guest host. Brandy was kind enough to ask me again, and I cannot because I am now in an office 8 to 5. So sorry, guys. I wish I could too. I decided to get a normal job for some reason. But being at home all the time was not good for my mental health. It really wasn't. I'm doing so much better mentally. Honestly, like 1,000% better. I've worked from home for like years and years and years, even before the pandemic, and it just got worse after the pandemic. Uh, but yeah. So let's get started with the Menendez brothers. I am planning on starting to stream the first Menendez brother trial. My goal is to start it on October 26th. That is a Saturday. So I will let y'all know date and time. Brandy is going to be at the trial in person. So she's going to be doing updates at night. That's why she asked me to guest stream. But unfortunately, I cannot. Yeah, and this job is just, it's so easy. It's so easy. And like, this is the first time in my life that I've had first time in a very long time where what I do doesn't impact somebody's life like directly. Working in
now to the Menendez brothers case. New...
hold on, working on nonprofits and like having to like deal with people being homeless or not having any food and not having any resources really got to me. It really got to me deep down in my soul. And I don't think I realized the burnout that I was getting until I got out of it. But anyway, all right, enough about me. I will keep blabbing. We only have so much time this morning. I don't know if Brandy's streaming jury selection. I don't see why she wouldn't, but I cannot speak for Brandy. I will ask her. And I do have a nonprofit that's trying to bring me on still. It's working with the homeless and veterans. And of course, that's what I really want to do. I really don't know if I should take that on again, but we'll see. I'm still figuring out my life. Anyway, Menendez brothers.
Audio of him speaking from behind bars, as the Los Angeles District Attorney says he'll review new evidence while considering resentencing the brothers. Dan Abrams is standing by after this report from Kana Whitworth. Good morning, Kana.
Yes, George, good morning to you. So now in their 50s, Eric and Lyle Menendez are featured in a new Netflix documentary reflecting on the trial that put them behind bars for life with no possibility of parole.
I remember when the verdict came down, it was first degree. It was so daunting that I was in shock.
For the first time in 30 years, Lyle and Eric Menendez is speaking out amid renewed interest in the infamous murder case that captured the world's attention.
I went to the only person that had ever helped me, that had ever protected me. And then ultimately this happened. He was arrested because of me. I wanted to die. In a way, I did not protect Lyle.
Audio tapes are part of the Menendez brothers' new Netflix documentary. The siblings who shot and killed their parents in their Beverly Hills home in 1989, opening up about what they said on the witness stand in the historic televised trial. Eric reacting to his brother's testimony.
I remember when he apologized to me on the stand for molesting me. He had never said he was sorry.
The trial making headlines again 3 decades later as Los Angeles County District Attorney George Gascon's office evaluates new alleged evidence and public calls for resentencing.
We're not saying that there was anything wrong with the original trial. We have been given evidence.
Famed defense attorney Mark Garagos claims Eric sent his cousin a letter detailing the abuse 9 months prior to the murders. Garagos also says a member of the popular 80s boy band Menudo, Roy Rasulo, says he too was molested by Eric and Lyle's father in the family home. Adding to a growing call for the alleged abuse the boys suffered at the hands of their own father to be reevaluated, they claim it went on for years and that they feared for their own lives.
It was a culture of silence, and that culture of silence existed up until the 90s, and I think it finally got broken in the 2000s.
Now, prosecutors maintain the brutal murders were motivated by money. The next hearing is November 26th, and the DA says the final decision will be his. Guys.
Okay, Candace, thanks very much. Our chief legal analyst, Dan Abrams, is here. What's the DA doing here?
Right. So I don't quite understand the timing, right? The DA is coming out now saying, well, we're going to evaluate this. This motion by the defense with this new evidence came out in May of 2023. Why now? Why now? Because of the documentaries, because of the evidence that's come out, that came out previously. It's because of the attention on this. And the DA comes out and says, well, we're going to evaluate this. We're going to look into it. What could possibly be taking this long after their habeas petition was filed in May of 2023 with all the new evidence? It starts to feel a little bit political because, again, this hearing is going to occur after their local elections there.
And this all happened decades ago, 1989. There's support now, and in a very different way for the Menendez brothers than there was back then.
Yeah, and I think that's because the claims of abuse are starting to seem like they were true. And remember that in the first trial, where there were 2 hung juries, 2 different trials, they actually presented their evidence of abuse. It seems some of the jurors believed it. In the second trial, they were largely not allowed to make those claims of abuse, and they were convicted. And so if you view it through that prism, you can see why a lot of people would say, wait, that seems really unfair, considering in particular this letter that was sent by Eric Menendez, it seems 8 months before this happened, talking about abuse. That sure does seem to support the brothers' claim that this is exactly what happened.
So Dan, what's next?
Well, the next question is going to be, are you talking about a possibility of a new trial? Are you talking about a resentencing? Are you talking about the case being thrown out? I think the only likely scenario is a resentencing. They're not going to have a new trial of the Menendez brothers. And I also think their conviction is not going to get thrown out. But I think that that's a very likely possibility here, is that they get resentenced and potentially freed.
We will see what happens.
Yeah.
All right, Dan. Our thanks to you. As always.
So they were sentenced to life without the possibility of parole. I don't think that they should be in prison for the rest of their lives. And I mean, you guys, I think, know me from watching me and what I've been through. There is nothing in this world I hate more than murderers. And then, people that hurt children and rapists and all that stuff are like right there. But I do think that the Menendez brothers were victimized. And I don't think that they should be in prison forever. I do think that they should be held accountable for what they did, especially if they can prove that this abuse was happening. And I couldn't imagine being abused by my father, and then having my father be so powerful. I can understand their fear. Um, I mean, my mom didn't abuse me in that way, but my mom was pretty abusive, and I moved as soon as I could get away from her. I moved. I moved hours away. I didn't give her my address or anything. And could the Menendez brothers have moved? Sure, but um, with the power that their dad had, I can understand their fear. I'm not justifying what they did. So there's other people that have come out, not just the Menendez brothers. There's other people that have come out and said that the dad abused them. And there's other evidence. There's letters that were written to the cousin, and for some reason it wasn't in the trial. There's other stuff. It's not just they said this. There's so much evidence that points to something happening. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. I mean, the only people that truly know the truth are the brothers. If they're lying, they've certainly convinced at least me. But everybody's entitled, to their own opinion. Good morning, Tokyo. All right. So the next video is Diddy's lawyers are accusing the feds of releasing the video of him and Cassie. But the word on the street is that Diddy released the video because he wanted people to know that he's capable of these things. Come on, clickety click.
The mother of disgraced music mogul Sean Diddy Combs, 84-year-old Janice, arriving at court today to show support for her son, who's seeking release on bail. And she was jeered and heckled by the crowd of onlookers.
Diddy's a predator.
Also, there, 6 of his children, all creating a human chain as they headed for the courthouse. Diddy walked into the courtroom wearing a tan prison jumpsuit. When he saw his family seated in the third row, he smiled and waved at them. When the proceedings ended, he blew them kisses. Diddy's attorney, Anthony Rico, talked about his mood.
So he's making an adjustment. He had his family here today to support him.
Attorney Gloria Allred, who represents several of the alleged victims, says Diddy's fame should have no impact on his trial.
You're not above the law. And so you have to face the consequences of what you are alleged to have done.
Diddy's lawyers are making a bombshell allegation. They say this video of him beating ex-girlfriend Cassie was leaked by the Department of Homeland Security for the purpose of tainting the jury pool. They want the tape barred from his trial.
The judge ruled that Combs will remain in jail until his trial, which is set for May 5th, 2025. Combs has pleaded not guilty to all the charges.
I actually met 2 of Diddy's. I probably have told this story before, but when I worked in South Beach, I met a lot of celebrities, and I met 2 of his sons. He has a son that looks like he could be Italian, and then another son that, looks mixed, beautiful green eyes. He was younger, and I thought, man, this kid's going to be very handsome when he grows up. And they were very nice and polite, especially for, being mogul kids. I dealt with lots of shitty rich people, like Lil Wayne's girlfriend at the time was such a bitch. And it's like, honey, it's not your money. You're just, doing stuff to get stuff. And you have no right to be like this. That new money got people acting up. But yeah, Combs' kids were very polite when I met them back in the day. The son that looks just like him, King Combs, has also been accused of things. And did you guys see Kanye is mentioned in the lawsuit too? How many moms? That's a great question. How many baby mamas? So when you Google how many baby mamas, it brings up Elon Musk, Eddie Murphy, Pitbull, Flavor Flav, Clint Eastwood, Eminem, and Trump. 4. He has 4 different babies' mothers, 6 children. So he had 4 children. Wait, that doesn't make any sense. How could he have 4 children and with her, but have 6 kids and have 4 babies' mothers? I'm going to have to look into this because that doesn't make any sense. Kim Porter, I guess he had the most children with. It says he has a son named Justin with Misa Hilton, 4 kids. Oh, he adopted one of Kim Porter's children. So maybe they didn't count that kid when they were talking about Diddy's kids. So he had adopted Kim Porter's kid. So maybe that's what's confusing. Yeah, so Kanye is accused of drugging and raping his old assistant. And the woman is stunning. She is gorgeous. She's, these type of women that you see that you're like, how are they real? Like, she is stunning. And the thing that's really bothering me is people see her photos and that she's voluptuous, she's gorgeous, and the people on the internet are like, well, she's a slut, she's a whore, you can't believe her. Well, how do you know? Just because she looks like that? And I showed my roommate, who is a man, I said, hey, this woman is accusing Kanye and people are calling her a slut and not to believe her. And he looked at her and he's like, no, I believe her. She's the kind of woman that would look at Kanye and be like, no. And regardless of what someone looks like, why the hell would she accuse someone like, believe victims. I believe victims in this house. But yeah, she's stunning. But anyway, Kanye is accused of drugging her at a Diddy party. But yeah. Anyway, moving on to Delphi. I have a 4-minute video on what to expect in the Delphi videos, or the Delphi trial. I like to call it Delphini, even though that's not even the name, but it's Delphi, I think. I hope I'm saying that right.
In the 2 years since Allen was arrested, there have been dozens of motions filed in this case.
Some have revealed what could and could not be discussed during the trial. Our Russ McQuaid has been following this case from the very beginning and takes a look at what to expect.
For 7.5 years, the Delphi double murder case has been an investigation cloaked in mystery and missteps, courtroom battles, and setbacks, and jurors have yet to hear a word of evidence. All that changes when jury selection begins October 14th.
Suffice to say, Carroll County has never hosted a more sensational trial in the 108 years the Limestone County Courthouse has stood in the center square of Delphi, Indiana. In this courtroom, a dozen jurors and their alternates will be asked to weigh the evidence arrayed against Richard Allen, an unassuming local man never suspected once in the first 5.5 years after the bodies of Libby German and Abby Williams were found slain near the Monon High Bridge outside of town. Investigators say that is Richard Allen, captured on Libby's cell phone, and this is his voice. And they say these are the sketches of the killer who witnesses described.
Have they matched that voice to his? We don't know.
Even though investigators believe the girls were killed with a knife, one of the most compelling pieces of evidence the prosecution claims it has is the alleged connection between an unspent bullet found at the crime scene and a .40 caliber handgun found in Richard Allen's house in October of 2022.
They are able generally to match a bullet to a gun, which oftentimes is critical in a criminal case. It is being challenged these days by defense lawyers like myself, saying that it isn't an exact science.
An analysis of the evidence that caused wrongful convictions revealed that flawed forensic evidence is responsible, at least in part, for more than half of the wrongful convictions.
Shortly after Allen's arrest, Prosecutor Nicholas McLeland told the court that it should keep the evidence arrayed against Allen a secret because the state thought someone else may have been involved in the murders. But Judge Fran Gull has told Allen's attorneys they can't allude to any other unnamed suspects.
And if there's evidence of the possibility of other individuals that were involved here, they have a right then to seek out that information.
The attorneys also can't talk about Odinism, a pagan ritualistic practice, and its followers as alternate suspects, even though a state police investigation found some credence to that theory.
Look at the detective's notes, look at the FBI's investigation, look at the sheriff's investigation. There's all an inclination that there may have been other people involved.
The defense will highlight inconsistencies it says it found in witness descriptions of a man spotted in the area that day, and perhaps ask why Allen's original law enforcement interview, where he admitted being on the bridge, was lost for 5.5 years. And they'll also introduce complicated cell phone signal evidence. The attorneys will also raise questions about Allen's state of mind while in solitary confinement in a maximum security prison, when investigators say he confessed to the killings more than 60 times, including over the phone to his mother and wife.
And then the defense counsel has to establish, hey, he wasn't of sound mind when he made these statements.
The jury will be tasked with finding Richard Allen guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. All it takes is one juror to harbor a doubt about the evidence or the testimony or the way investigators came up with their case to declare a hung jury, and leaving Allen's fate and the mystery of the murders of Libby and Abby.
So I don't know what's going to happen in this case. The only thing, regardless of what you feel or think about this case, just remember that, you know, 2 little girls have been murdered and the families are online. They do see stuff. So just be conscious of what is said. You know, would you want their family to see it? That's the only thing I can ask. You know, I can't tell people how to feel about the case. I'm not going to do that. You know, I want justice for Libby and Abby. I want the proper person to be put in prison. The only thing I can ask people is to be kind on the internet and social media. You know, I have connected with some of the family members involved in this, and they're going through a lot. So, you know, just please be kind. I do not believe that this will be televised. I'm pretty sure it's not. So we've spoken about the woman missing in San Antonio shortly after she was seen in an altercation with her husband outside, and he was arrested for domestic violence, but she is still missing. The family has released a statement.
Good evening and thank you for joining us. Local mom Suzanne Simpson has now been missing for a week, and now her family has released a statement thanking law enforcement. 51-year-old Suzanne Clark Simpson disappeared around 11 p.m. Sunday, October 6, from East Olmos, less than a mile from Trinity University. She was last seen wearing a long black dress and black heels. Simpson was reported missing Monday night by her husband, Brad Simpson, who is currently in the Bexar County Jail on a $2 million bond. He's charged with assault and unlawful restraint. Numerous searches have been conducted by the Olmos Park Police, DPS, Kettle County Sheriff's Office, and more. Simpson's family posted a statement on Facebook thanking.
Okay, so let's see, because there's 3 seconds left and no way we're going to be able to read all that. All right. As the search for Suzanne continues, we are immensely grateful for the extraordinary efforts of law enforcement, the Alamos Park Police, the Texas Department of Public Safety, the Texas Rangers, and many others have been vigilant and tireless in their efforts to find Suzanne. We want to extend a special thanks to Chief Fidel Vegas. My Spanish is so bad. That's a Y. Vegas, whatever his name is. Chief Fidel, there we go. Ranger Jesse Perez, I'm not fully awake yet. And the DPS Victim Services team for guiding us through this unimaginable ordeal and helping us protect and support Suzanne's children. We're deeply thankful to the community and to everybody who has supported us and continues to support the search. To all of you that have reached out, I lost my place. To all of you who have reached out with love and encouragement, please know that your support means the world to us. We will not stop until we find her. As you attend church this morning, please keep Suzanne's children in your prayers. We ask God to bless them and give us strength to endure this painful and heartbreaking situation. I wonder how many children she has. That shit, like, just divorce. They were going through a divorce, I'm pretty sure. He does look crazy in his mugshot. I agree.
Law enforcement.
I do agree. And obvious 4 kids, 4 children. Those poor babies. Well, if she's 51, maybe they're not that young, but still, regardless. I mean, depends when she had kids. Anyway, I am glad to see a $2 million bond, though. Don't typically see bonds that high, especially for something like that. So a police officer has been charged. Prince George County has been charged days after graduating the academy.
7 News is learning more about a Prince George's County rookie officer arrested in Virginia, and one of the key crimes that departments across the region have been cracking down on.
Stolen vehicles. She's facing 3 counts of unauthorized use. Maryland Bureau Chief Brad Bell is live with the trail of evidence that investigators say this officer actually left behind. Brad.
Yeah, so we broke the story of the arrest yesterday. Today, we got the court documents that lay out the case. And this involves rental cars that were not rented. There were no contracts. There was no authorization. They were just discovered to be missing from a rental car lot. And then, according to these allegations, connected to this police officer. Last month,
Dumbass.
the Prince George's County Police Department posted this photo on social media celebrating newly sworn-in police officer Sierra Alston's graduation from the police academy. It was part of honoring Women's History Month. Well, yesterday, the department revealed Alston was arrested last week and is facing felony charges for unauthorized use of 3 rental cars stolen from Reagan National Airport. 7 News obtaining the criminal complaint filed in Arlington, Virginia. It's now alleged that just after that graduation picture was posted, the 6th rental car company recovered 3 2024 BMWs taken from their lot between February and April. An airport authority police officer claiming that in one car they found a female PGPD jacket. In another, Alston's Instagram account was linked to the entertainment system, and that Alston was recorded driving the 3rd car during an interaction with a D.C. police officer. They also allege Alston's cell phone pinged near the airport on 3 occasions during the period when the cars were taken. The last time, just 5 days after her police graduation. We have asked the police department a series of questions about Alston's background check, if she is still in a new hire probationary period, if she'll now be fired, and was she suspended when PGPD learned of the stolen cars back in July. Yeah, and just a short time ago, we learned that the police department here is not yet ready to answer our questions. We're going to keep posing them and stay on them until we find out exactly how this case has been handled. This officer, was she on the street the entire time, even after police learned that she was a suspect in the theft of these cars? The Prince George's County Police Headquarters, Brad Bell, 7 News.
Bizarre story. Thank you, Brad. And this isn't the first incident of concern for the department. Last week, we reported on a video posted on a local social media comedian's account that showed an officer participating in an apparent sketch with a department vehicle and holding a firearm in a mock arrest. The actions are under review. And in a statement to 7 News, we're told that the officer remains on full duty while internal affairs investigates.
Dumbass. Dumbasses. Like, I guess at an airport, like, you can normally just go get in and then get the keys because they're in the car. But, like, anytime I've ever rented a car from the airport, like, I have to there's a little booth to get out, and I have to talk to a human and, like, hand them the paper. So, did they know somebody working there? Maybe? But, like, girl, why are you stealing BMWs from the airport and becoming a cop? It's not that expensive to rent a car. I mean, it's not cheap, but, like, it's not worth going to prison for. Like, and then you're gonna leave evidence, you're gonna leave your phone connected to it. Dumbass. The Instagram account was connected to the car. Why the fuck can you log into your Instagram account on your car? Why do you need that? I hate touchscreens. Like, a little bit of touchscreen is fine, but I have a rental car right now, and the fucking air conditioning is in the touchscreen. I hate that shit. I hate that shit. I just want knobs so I don't have to look. Like, I have to hit the bottom of the screen for it to switch over to the AC and then adjust it. I don't like that. I just give me buttons for the air conditioning. Everything else, cool. Be on the screen. The volume is a knob. Why can't the AC be a knob? Tired of all the touchscreen shit. All this because I have to look at it. But at least it has like a weird little gear shifter and it's not touchscreen or damn button. All this technology. Now I sound old. Yeah, I don't like the touchscreen for the air conditioning. So, anyways, all right. So we are going to. We'll see. What else do I want to share this morning? Do 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 do. Cold case. We like cold cases being solved. I need like hold music instead of my my voice. Do 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 do.
Well, Nikki, the maze.
Hold on. Wasn't ready for that to start yet. I was trying to get it ready. It's kind of the point of these screens. All right. So, cold case, a 1980 cold case. They have finally arrested a suspect. So, this case is older than I am. I love to see when these cases get solved. See this kind of technology I like.
Well, Nikki, the Mays family has waited over 40 years to get some sort of closure in the unsolved murder of their loved one, Helen Terry. Now, Helen's brother John tells me that this arrest gives them a little bit of hope, but they won't see that total closure until this defendant is sentenced. Now, in the courtroom today, this man, Robert Terry, who is now 81 years old, had to be wheeled in to hear from the judge about his murder charge. The case dates back to August 28th of 1980. That's when the Sacramento Police Department says Robert's wife, Helen Terry, was found stabbed to death in her apartment on Wyndham Drive, where she lived with her one-year-old son, a son she shares with the defendant, Robert Terry. There wasn't enough evidence at the time to identify or charge a suspect in Helen's murder back in 1980. But in 2016, the Sacramento Police Department reopened the case and processed DNA from the crime scene that pointed to Robert Terry as the suspect. Still, there was not enough evidence to charge him with murder. Then this year, the Sacramento County DA's office, in partnership with the Sacramento Police Department, used new methods to discover the evidence to charge Robert with murder. Helen's family says it's been a long time coming. Here's what her brother had to say after today's hearing.
We've been wondering since day one. And this is the first little bit of hope that we've had since then. And we're going to take it to the max.
And back out of here live, coming up here on Fox 40 News at 6 o'clock. Here More from John Mays, who is Helen Terry's brother, about who Helen was during her life before her tragic murder. Robert Terry is expected to be back in court on October 17th. Live in Sacramento, covering local news.
So they suspected him for 40 years and they needed more evidence. Well, I'm glad they got it. I don't know if he'll make it through the trial. That man is old and doesn't look like he's doing well. I can only hope for a speedy trial and conviction so he dies in prison. I know a family where the murderer is not healthy and the family wants him to be convicted before the trial finishes. I mean, before he dies, because he doesn't have much time left, because they just want him convicted. They don't want him to die an innocent man. So I hope for the same thing in this family. So human remains found in a freezer. I don't know why people hold on to I don't know why people hold on to evidence if you're going to be, a horrific human. So another cold case, a teen that was missing since 2005 in Harris County has been identified by these remains in the freezer. Yes, and rest in peace, Helen. She looked like she was a veteran, that she served her country and had a 1-year-old child. I hope that it looks like there's a lot of family, so I'm glad that kid had the family and not their father to raise them.
It's a story sweeping the nation, but what's the connection between the rural town of Grand Junction, Colorado, and Houston, which is separated by roughly 1,000 miles? Our Gage Golding has been digging into this story, working to find out who killed this teen and why.
Her name is Amanda Overstreet. Today, she would be in her late 30s. Now, look, we don't have a picture of Amanda, partly because she went missing before digital cameras and Facebook were really even a thing. This case begins back in 2005. That's when investigators in Colorado say Amanda was last seen alive. Records show she grew up here in the Houston area, and at some point, she moved to Colorado. Then, radio silence all the way until January 12th of this year. That's when a head and hands were found in the freezer inside of a Colorado home. It took investigators 10 months and the use of DNA technology to identify those remains as Amanda Overstreet. We know Overstreet was killed, part of her body stuffed in a freezer, but we don't know what happened between 2005 and this year. It's a 19-year gap. But part of that answer, though, might come from this home right here. This is the home that had the freezer with Amanda's remains inside. This home was owned by her mother. Detectives say the remains were only discovered by the new owners after Amanda's mom sold the house.
The last record we have of her being seen is in 2005, and we do not have any records relating to her disappearance or that she was ever reported missing by anyone. I mean, she was a child. She was 16 years old. She's still a child.
That's the key part here. No one ever reported Amanda to be missing. Also, the rest of her body has yet to be found. I never like to leave you with questions, but you might be asking yourself a couple of things, and I am too. These are questions that we have asked investigators. The first one, is Amanda's mother a suspect in this case? The second, was Amanda living in the Houston area when she was last seen alive? In the third, why didn't anybody report Amanda as missing? We've asked these questions, and as soon as we get an answer, we'll let you know. I'm Gage Golding.
Thanks, Gage. I like Gage. He's one of the local Houston reporters. But what the fuck? So you kept your daughter's head and hands? And then you sold the house and left them there? Did you forget that they were there? Thank God for stupid criminals, man, because there's so many that get caught because of stupid shit like this, leaving this in the freezer for 20 years. 16-year-old girl never got to truly experience life. That shit makes me so sad. Because that's what I think about all the stuff that they missed out on in life, Moving some of these stories down. All right. So, yeah, MySpace died a silent death. I had MySpace, but when I had legal stuff going on, uh, and I didn't want people digging into my life when I was running the streets and being crazy, um, I had my MySpace deleted because, yeah, I don't want to be judged for when I was 20. Yeah, I know what email I used, but there's no way in hell I could get into it. And honestly, some of the photos, I'm like, Jessica, what the fuck were you thinking? Like, I would never wear stuff that low cut now. I mean, I got some, I'm well endowed, so it doesn't take much to give a lot of cleavage, but because I was well endowed then too. I've always been, as soon as I hit puberty, they were pow. And yeah, anyway. So moving on to the Detroit area, a man charged with murder, uh, that a man is charged with murder after killing somebody while he was pretending to be a DTE worker. I'm assuming DTE is some sort of utility up there.
The victim of this horrific murder owned the pawn shop behind me here in Hamtramck. And the Oakland County Sheriff's Office told us on Friday, him being a small business owner could be the reason he was targeted. On Sunday, authorities announced that one of the two suspects involved in this man's death has been charged with murder, with robbery being the underlying felony on the murder charge. Oakland County Sheriff Michael Bouchard says 37-year-old Carlos Hernandez and an accomplice posed as DTE workers on Friday in order to get into the victim's house in Rochester Hills. Once the two men were inside, they allegedly tied up the victim's wife and then murdered the victim, who has been identified as 72-year-old Hussein Murray. Hernandez was arrested on Saturday in Shreveport, Louisiana, after local deputies spotted a vehicle that matched his car's description. Police are still searching for the other suspect in this case. Now listen to what Sheriff Bouchard had to say about Hernandez's criminal history.
He did have a criminal history. As a matter of fact, there was outstanding warrants for him out of Ohio. And that also helped us in the process to get up this nationwide manhunt before even we had our warrants in hand.
Now, keep this in mind when it comes to DTE workers. The company sent us a statement saying that if any worker is going to show up at your house, they will call you first. Now, if you are unsure if someone is who they say they are from the company, you can call DTE and they can tell you that, or you can check their badges. Reporting in Hamtramck.
I'm not answering the door for shit. I don't care who you say you are. I'm not answering the door. Cops come. I'm going to call the cops to make sure you're a cop. I don't care if you're in full uniform. You got a car outside. I'm calling the cops. And I have a ring, so I'm going to talk to you through the ring. No reason for us to meet face to face. I really hate that this is where we're at in a society. Some of us that are older, y'all remember when you would get a knock on the door and everyone's like, "Ooh, who's at the door? Somebody's visiting. How cool. Yay, let's get the pound cake out of the freezer," or the layered ice cream cake that everybody had in their freezer. I want to buy one of those. I saw one in the grocery store the other day. Anyway, we enjoyed people knocking at our door. We were like, "Yay, people visits." Now we're like, who is knocking at my door? Why are you knocking at my door? We're all suspicious. Yeah, let me find the subreddit so I can show you guys the grandma's pantry. Grandma's pantry. I don't know why I'm singing this morning. I'm so sorry. But I can't help it. It just randomly happens. I've heard that that's an ADD thing. I don't know. I do have ADHD. I don't know if you guys can tell. All right. So here's and I've been diagnosed by a doctor. I didn't just make this up. I have been diagnosed. I am unmedicated. I do my best. All right. And then there's obscure drugs is the other one. So obscure drugs is it's vintage, the bottles of cocaine cough syrup and stuff like that. I have had no coffee. This is just me. This is just me. I am, yeah, this is just me with no coffee. So, yeah. Sorry. Oh God, I gotta stop. I'm gonna keep singing. So something that I sing quite often is the Price is Right theme. Like I'll whistle it or, you know, just make it the noise of it. When I was when I went on a road trip with Shay, I just randomly came out with like a lip trumpet. And Shay, like, I guess I forgot there was another person there. And Shay's like, man, sick trumpet. And yeah, oh God. Yeah, I've been up since 5 a.m. To get stuff done before we start streaming. But uh, yeah, no coffee yet. I drink coffee when I get to the office because they have a really nice coffee machine um, with like it grinds the beans and everything. But anyway, so going to Oklahoma, a mother of a suspect of sexual assault. So the mother of the person accused of sexual assaulting is warning other people about her son. We love you. Thank you for accepting that your child could do something like this and caring enough to warn other people. Thank you for that. That is such a rare thing. And wow. So if you were in Oklahoma, or I mean, this guy could have traveled to other areas, pay attention, share it. If there's other victims, please go to the police. And here we go.
A man accused of sexually assaulting multiple underage girls as well as adult women finds himself back behind bars again.
It's the second time he's been arrested in less than a month. This is Brendan Ponkilla. Since he was released on bond in late September, investigators say more victims have come forward. As News 4's Amaya Ward reports, a very close relative of Ponkilla's is now warning other women to stay away from him. It's new at 5.
If I can prevent someone else's child from being hurt, then that's what needs to happen.
Pottawatomie County deputies first arresting 21-year-old Brendan Ponkilla in late September, accusing him of multiple sexual assaults. He was later released on bond, but was handcuffed again on Tuesday after investigators say more victims came forward.
People needed to be warned.
Ponkilla's mother, Brandy Green, is the one behind this Facebook page for her son's victims, ranging from ages 14 to 16 years old.
From then on, girls started contacting me.
Brandy says she was just made aware of her son's actions last year and even turned in 3 of his phones to police. She says she hasn't been in contact with her son since.
We just found overwhelming amounts of evidence.
Ponkilla is currently accused of sexually assaulting at least 8 girls. Now she hopes by speaking out, it will prevent her son from hurting anyone else.
I'm sorry to all the girls and their families. I hate that they have to go through this, but something has to stop somewhere.
In Pottawatomie County, Amaya Ward, Oklahoma's news.
She even made a Facebook. Wow. She's really cooperating with the police. Like, my son did this. He's going to prison. All right. So let's see. I'm going to play one more crime video. And then let's see what else I have. End it with something. Man, I have so many. Well, at least I don't have to look for videos for tomorrow, because I got plenty here. All right. So one more crime video, and then a happy video, and then we are gonna go, because I got a shower. So going back to Texas, in the Fort Worth area, a man is accused of nearly decapitating his wife. She was found dead while awaiting for trial. Like, how many of these are we going to see? Like, just get divorced. Like, alimony, child support, that has to be easier than sitting in prison for the rest of your life, right? You would think.
There will be no justice for the family of a woman brutally murdered, police say, by her husband earlier this year. A trial for that suspect was set to start next week. Instead, he was found dead in his home. Fox 4's Peyton Yeager reports.
It was his character. You know, he's a coward. So it's not surprising.
Friday, Kat Rivas was supposed to be traveling from Houston to Fort Worth to face her sister's alleged killer in a Tarrant County courtroom. Today, 40-year-old Nathaniel Rowland was set to face a judge in a hearing before his murder trial for the death of 38-year-old Elizabeth Rowland. Instead, he was found dead inside his home earlier this week.
We've been very sad since February 23rd this year.
Rivas remembers her older sister while trying to hold back tears. Late February, Rowland called 911 and reported his wife had cut herself in the throat. Investigators arrived to the gruesome scene. Elizabeth Rowland was nearly decapitated. While being questioned by police, Nathaniel Rowland claimed he saw his wife cut her neck. However, forensic investigators say his wife's wounds were not self-inflicted and ruled her death as a homicide. The medical examiner also noted she had defensive wounds. Rowland was arrested for murder and later released on bond. Monday morning, Rowland was found dead. His cause of death is pending, according to the Tarrant County medical examiner.
I think since I've been able to move on from being mad that he did that, and we're not going to see justice be served here on earth. But, you know, I do believe that he will get justice that's due.
Rivas says now her sister's light is missed every day. Elizabeth leaves behind 2 children, ages 16 and 10.
We want her remembered as the wonderful mother that she was, the great daughter that she was, and an irreplaceable sister. And, you know, that she loved each one of us so much.
In Tarrant County, Peyton Yeager, Fox 4.
Just get divorced. Good morning, Lisa. Good morning. Ooh, donuts. I love donuts. Okay, where is the video? Next video that I wanted. Where are you? Hold, please. I know it's here. Where are you? Here it is. I found it. Okay. I finally found it. Okay, so surgeons in the Philadelphia. Calm down. I wasn't ready. Surgeons in the Philadelphia area were able to successfully separate conjoined twins. So that's awesome. These were 2 little boys. They were less than a year old, and because of where they were connected, they were able to successfully separate them.
Of both of their parents, twin brothers Amari and Javar, leave the Children's Hospital of Philadelphia for the first time since they were born conjoined last September.
My first 2 nights, I cried. I woke up crying because they wasn't there.
Jessika and Tim Ruffin knew their twins would be born conjoined, so the first goal was to ensure a safe birth. With the nature of the conjoinment and CHOP's history of success in separation surgeries, the Ruffins felt some relief.
The chests were not joined. Their hearts were not joined. They had separate normal structure function hearts.
Energy changed, and that changed all of us, like for like how confident it was and how positive it was.
The twins spent 10 months in the hospital prior to the surgery, learning how to feed and grow outside of the womb. while their surgical team of more than 24 specialists worked on a plan.
I was more so like overwhelmed with like joy and excitement, a little bit of nervousness because it is a surgery, and I feel as though them being so young is still like scary.
The actual surgery lasted 8 hours. The outcome, a success.
When the ending is happy and joyous, that fulfills us in a way that constantly fuels that sense of humanism that we want to infuse in the type of care that we offer our families.
They finally got to leave the hospital with their parents and their siblings this week. They'll still have to come back for weekly checkups. Shanika already reflecting on how the boys will react when they're older.
I was thinking about them being like 5, going to kindergarten, or they got to do show and tell. And I showed them a picture. They're like, well, who's this? And I'm like, y'all were conjoined. That's y'all.
Thanks for watching. Stay up.
That's funny. Yeah, imagine a story telling people, yeah, I was a conjoined twin. All right. So I'm not sure if you guys saw a dog that the state troopers found. Oh my God. Tied up in Florida. It's one of those some sort of terrier. It's like a Spud McKenzie. Yeah, that dog, whatever that beer dog was, bull terrier or something. Not a cheap dog. So a dog was found tied to a fence, but the state trooper saw it and rescued it. So here is an update on that dog.
To say, we got the job done.
She posted a video earlier today of a dog chained to a fence. They went and rescued it. Do you know what's happening with that dog?
I mean, first of all, what kind of an animal would just leave a dog chained to a pole in the middle of a hurricane? I mean, it's just unbelievable that somebody would do that. And so I'm thankful for the FHP folks out of Tampa for rescuing the dog. They did bring it to the vet. The dog has a clean bill of health. And who knows, maybe we'll do some adoption, put the dog up for adoption, and we can have some people in Florida come and compete for it and take it. But, it's just like, I mean, people do a lot of dumb things, but you just see that. And so I hope they find the person who did it, and that person should have the book thrown at them. We've got very good laws in Florida against animal cruelty. These dogs, we've got dogs that are going to be helping in the storm. These police working dogs, they're great. They're great canines. So we don't have tolerance for that in Florida. I thought it was outrageous that somebody would do that.
DeSantos said, "We find you, we're going to throw the book at you." Well, I'm glad that DeSantos at least hates animal abusers. Speaking of animals, don't feed wild animals. Don't do it. Yeah, don't feed wild animals. Why, you say? Because this'll happen.
This next story is a perfect example of why you shouldn't feed wildlife. Hundreds of hungry raccoons took over this Washington state home.
Oh no.
Oh my gosh.
Oh no. Oh,
the
no.
woman who lives there told local deputies that she's been feeding a few random raccoons for decades. Well, word must have got out because
my
recently
gosh.
hundreds have been showing up for a feast, and the problem got so bad she couldn't even get inside her home, so she had to call 911 for help.
Oh no.
How do you walk that back, though?
Look at them. Look at me.
So, why do I think they're so cute, though?
They are really cute.
I know.
My boyfriend's family had a raccoon.
Like
yeah. One? They had a pet, Cozy.
This girl has a lot.
Raised it from, babyhood.
No.
It raised it from babyhood. Don't feed wild animals, y'all. Oh, birds. You can feed birds. Put bird seed outside, but that's it. I mean, if you have stray cats, maybe. But if you feed the stray cats, the raccoon might eat it. So, have like a cat specific, or put the food out and watch them eat it. I don't know. But be careful feeding raccoons because this woman would come home and they would surround her car. They would keep scratching the doors and windows and stuff. They wanted to eat 24/7. They're like cats. My cat always wants to eat. All right. Well, that is going to be it for this morning because I have to go take a shower and get ready, and I have to be somewhere by 8 o'clock. So I got 55 minutes to get there, and at least it's only 10 minutes away. Well, and I love starting my mornings with you guys. I appreciate you all so very much, and I will be back tomorrow at same time, 6 a.m. Have you seen the short of the idiot trying to feed a brown bear? No, that's pretty stupid. Bears, I'm terrified of bears. I'm terrified of like wolves, bears, anything that could kill me. Yeah, like if I see it in nature, I'm backing up. I'm not trying to interact with it. I'll see it in a zoo. But I'm not trying to feed bear. Crazy. That's crazy. Is he Russian? Because they have special bear powers from what I've seen. Anyway, I appreciate y'all being here. I love you all, and I hope to see you again tomorrow morning. And have a great Monday, guys. Bye.